Met Office warnings of extreme heat come into effect for much of the UK today.
Travel disruption and pressure on health services are predicted as temperatures soar in the coming days.
We're asking people to keep an eye out for their neighbours and those who may be vulnerable, but we're also putting in additional contingency support as well.
Good morning. A hotter day today. An amber warning is in force for the whole of England, Wales and southern Scotland, but the extreme heat is expected to arrive tomorrow when the red warning comes in force, and it looks likely that we will see temperatures exceed 40 degrees.
Look at the front pages.
Shall we? Let's do it. Let's have a look at the front of The Observer. Their headline, a warning from Alok Sharma, the President of the United Nations Climate Change Summit, COP26. He's threatened to resign if the new Prime Minister ditches the UK's plans to cut carbon emissions. As you can see, the story there accompanied by a photo of a wildfire that is currently raging in southern Portugal.
The Sunday Mirror combines politics and weather with its headline, Boris Heat Rave. The paper reports the Prime Minister is hosting a farewell party at Chequers tomorrow and missed an emergency Cobra meeting about the hot weather.
There's a photo of Boris Johnson in full flight gear on the front of the Daily Express. The paper describes him as the Maverick PM and reports that he's still flying high in the polls despite the plan to step down as Prime Minister in the autumn.
Front page of the Daily Telegraph carries a message from Cabinet Minister Kit Malthouse on the heatwave, who has suggested the next few days may be a moment to work from home. The paper says the government ministers are expecting significant road and rail disruption because of soaring temperatures. And in fact, I mentioned yesterday I'm supposed to be travelling to Brighton for the Women's Euros quarter-final on Wednesday for 5 Live. I'm not sure what's happening about that, but we were checking the train out this morning and they are saying, so they haven't changed the timetable yet, but they are saying expect significant disruption, cancellations, delays on the lines. So if you're planning going anywhere by train, particularly in the south of England, the Midlands to the north on Tuesday, possibly even tomorrow actually, and Wednesday, then, you know, the likelihood is it's not going to be a typical service.
Now, the warning is that those trains will have to run much slower because the tracks bend and warp and all sorts of things, and then above the power lines don't deal with it very well.
The railways don't like hot weather.
And often you find the problem is if there's a lot of dry stuff by the side of the road, there's like one glass bottle there and the heat causes fires and then they have to stop the train.
And that's it. Sort of, that's enough to send it all into a spin. Loads of the papers, like us, are trying to give helpful advice to people because I think until we get that 40 degrees temperature, you might not really know what it's like. We'll hear from someone in Spain later who'll give us an idea. But anyway, lots of the papers have tips, including this from the Mail. They say, put ice under your desk fan.
I thought that said ice cream.
I'm all for that one. Hang towels outside your window. Keeping curtains closed during the day blocks out some of the heat, but even with those covered, still the heat gets through. So block the sun from the outside. How are you going to get outside to put the towels up?
Somehow it feels that's more dangerous than coping with the heat.
Yeah. Put your feet in ice cold water. That might be a little bit better. Ditch the oven. Which sounds obvious, but to keep your oven off in this weather and use microwave barbecue or eat cold meals such as salads.
Well, I was going to say, I planned a barbecue, but then I thought, actually, that's just adding to the heat.
Do you want to be standing over flaming grills?
No, I think it might be salads.
Hours.
And there was also some advice yesterday to have a hot water bottle, but freeze it.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's not, I don't want to...
You don't want to hug a big cube of ice in bed. Nor do I, actually. And you might notice when you're out and about this morning, there's a bit of rain about and it feels quite chilly in the air.
Feels quite fresh, I think is the official word.
It's on Bournemouth Beach for us this morning. And Helen, I think, well, already people are out and about taking advantage of the warm weather.
They certainly are. Yes, good morning from Bournemouth Beach. Absolutely glorious sunrise we've had here this morning. You can see the vista behind me, stunning really. But we've been down there at the beach and at the pier already today, and there are people down there already, dog walking, couple of joggers. We've had some people out fishing, even a few revellers who I think have actually been up all night enjoying these long summer's evenings. But of course, what better place to enjoy this glorious weather that we're having than by one of our coastal regions or our coastal resorts like Bournemouth here. It's going to be a couple of degrees degrees cooler here over today, 25 degrees they think are top, a couple of degrees cooler than inland. So perfect place for people to escape, with also the draw, obviously, of the water. But with that comes the concerns, naturally, that not only is there water safety issues, are people capable swimmers? Do they know what the lay of the land is when they get out there? Shelves that could have sandbanks that could just sort of ditch off. Are they competent swimmers? That puts pressure on lifesavers, on the RNLI, on local police trying to keep everyone safe. And of course, what we're all talking about, this heat, the concerns over people's reactions to this heat. Are they coming for a day out at the beach well prepared? Are they bringing water? Are they bringing hats, a parasol perhaps? Trying to stay out of the day, in the middle of the day, out of the heat. So those are all the things that the local authorities here are concerned about and what they're watching out for. They're expecting here today and tomorrow, yesterday and today, they're expecting to have had 100,000 people visit Bournemouth Beach, and hotels this weekend have been at 95% capacity. So people really taking advantage of the lovely location here and all the things that Bournemouth has to offer, and encouraging people to do so, but sensibly. If you can, think about your trip and make sure you're well prepared.
Good advice, thank you. Mulroy is live for us from Bournemouth Beach this morning. Helen, good morning. It does look glorious and it's getting busier and busier.
It absolutely is, yes. Good morning, all. We're now on the pier on Bournemouth Beach. Fantastic location. As you can see, beautiful vista behind me. Very, very busy. We've been here since 5 a.m. and it is getting more and more busy as we go. As you can see, tents behind, people setting up for the day. We've had some people in the sea already. It's not even 8 o'clock and they're already in. But people fishing, we've had some joggers, dog walkers, everybody out enjoying this gorgeous weather. And why not when it's this stunning?
Actually, even early doors, there are loads of people on the beach, and I see the crowds are beginning to gather there once again, Helen.
They absolutely are, yes. It's been busy since 5 o'clock this morning when we first arrived here on Bournemouth Beach, and it's getting even busier now. As you can see, plenty of people with their tents set up, plenty of people in the water taking a dip and enjoying this glorious weather. That is what it's all about, really, and what better place to do it.
So let's get that all-important forecast for the first time this morning. Louise is going to keep us up to date throughout the programme. Louise, good morning. So we were speaking yesterday, temperatures were starting to creep up, and today's the day that we'll start to notice them, won't we?
Yeah, Ben. I mean, I'm going to start off with what we had as a maximum yesterday. We actually had 29 degrees in London yesterday. And when I was walking around in the afternoon, it was too hot for me by then. And I was thinking, oh, we've got another at least 10 Celsius to go on top of that. So just to illustrate the point, it is getting hotter. Today we could see low 30s, but the extreme heat is expected to arrive during Monday. If you don't already know that, there is a possibility that we are likely to see 41 degrees, and that will break the all-time high. So we have this red weather warning out for this extreme heat, and these are the areas that's covered. It's not changed. It's been similar for the last few days, stretching from Manchester, Leeds down into the London area. The amber warning actually comes into force today because with temperatures in excess of 30 degrees for some areas, that is still very hot indeed, and that covers the whole of England, Wales and into southern Scotland as well. So please keep abreast of the forecast. Please look after yourself, look after your pets, and perhaps look out for some neighbours as well.
All the details. Louise has the weather for us this morning. And Louise, we were hearing there from Bethany about the temperatures that have already been taking effect in southern Europe. And it's that heat that is moving up through Spain, France, and what will hit us over the course of the next couple of days.
Yes, and in recent days in Portugal and parts of Spain, we've seen some records broken due to the intensity of the heat, with temperatures into the mid-40s. And it looks highly likely now that we are going to be breaking some of our temperature records over the next few days. There's a lot on this graphic, but I'll go through it slowly. So the record in England is 38.7. It looks likely that we're going to see temperatures in excess of 40 degrees at least. But Wales could actually be higher in terms of breaking their record. So we're expecting temperatures to peak at around 38 Celsius. So that will certainly break their record there. And there is a possibility as well through Monday and Tuesday that we could break the temperature record in Scotland. So that is how extreme the heat is going to be over the next couple of days, and hence the reason that the Met Office has issued its first ever heat warning. So you need to be prepared. This heat is now coming. It's going to arrive through Monday and also into Tuesday. There is certainly going to be an impact potentially on your health and certainly on infrastructure. So you need to be aware of that over the next few days. If we take a look at the areas that are most likely to be affected in the red heat warning, fairly extensive, stretching all the way up from London up into the Midlands to the north of England. But the amber heat warning comes into play today, and that means temperatures here still into the mid-30s. That's the whole of England, Wales and also into southern Scotland as well. So some extreme weather conditions to come over the next couple of days. It's not going to last very long. So some unprecedented weather. Please keep abreast of the forecast. Please don't go out in the extreme heat. Keep well hydrated, look after pets, and make sure you try and stay as cool as you possibly can. That said, this is the Lake District at the moment. In Cumbria, we've got a fairly cloudy and drizzly start, and that's because there is some rain in the forecast, so let's not ignore that completely. Across Northern Ireland, Western Scotland, a little bit of drizzly rain just moving away through the Pennines as we speak.
Great. Well, best of luck to the runners. And of course, it's going to hot up even more over the next couple of days. The early part of next week could be record-breaking. Talk of it hitting over 40 degrees Celsius for the first time. Back to you guys.
And he said thank you. It really is just sort of simple things, isn't it, that you might change about, earlier start times, things like that are going to make a big difference. Just avoid that kind of peak heat in the middle of the day.
Or as you said, don't run at all.
That was just our little chat. I mean, I do kind of wonder why people are...
That's you all over. You'll be lying on your garden chair.
I will.
Under the shade, and that's fine.
I got a new garden sofa that I've bored you with at length.
I know.
And I need to make the most of it. So.
Space for two, to be fair. Anyway, let's see what kind of weather Ben will be lounging in, Louise. It's going to be pretty hot.
I don't want to sit in the garden in this kind of temperatures,
No.
I tell you. I really don't, Ben. I hope you have a nice tree shading you, or certainly an umbrella, because we are talking about unprecedented temperatures. Now, I just want to talk about some of the records that potentially could be broken, just to bring home the point of how extreme this weather is likely to be. Now, the record across England, across the whole of the UK, 38.7, that was broken in 2019, but it looks likely that we could see 41 Celsius over the next couple of days. Wales could see temperatures in excess of 37, 38 degrees, so that could be above their all-time record, and the same too for Scotland as well. So we really are talking about unprecedented heat, and that is one of the reasons why the Met Office triggered their first ever red heat warning. Now, you have to consider it just like a red weather warning in general, whether it was for a storm, whether it was a snow event. This is for heat. That means that there has a direct impact potentially on your life and on the infrastructure as well. So it is really, really serious that you try and adhere to some sensible rules in the house.
So here are some top tips that you might find handy over the next couple of days.
Of course, there are things that can help us enjoy this glorious sunshine. But as the mercury climbs ever higher over the next few days, if you really want to keep cool in this heat, you probably need to go inside. Think Mediterranean. Keep the blinds and curtains shut so the sun can't heat your house up inside. And keep the air moving. Remember, heat rises, so opening a window upstairs will let hot air escape. Even a bowl of iced water could help create cooler air in a small room or your home office perhaps. Use your freezer, and not just for food. There are lots of things you can chill to make it more comfortable. Gel cool mats, a damp flannel, even your bed sheets and socks. And finally, wear light clothing. Linen and cotton will help you keep cool. And if you must go out, don't wear something dark and tight, but loose and light. Then maybe, just maybe, you won't melt. Helen Mulroy, BBC News.